How do you talk to yourself? Like, what's the tone when you talk to yourself? What's the tone that you use? Are you mean to yourself? I think I'm like a drill sergeant to myself. I have very little tolerance for complaining, for whining. I want you to do what I know you can do. And when things are hard, you shut up and you keep trying. And that's the voice that I use to talk to myself. The problem is that in midlife, it doesn't work that way anymore. Like, it doesn't serve me because my body is doing funny things in this perimenopause stage. It's acting real funny. And the way that I used to talk to myself, it used to motivate me. And now all it does is it creates anxiety. I don't need a drill sergeant right now. I need to be kind to myself because I'm going through changes and because I'm confused and because things I used to be able to handle, I can't. And my body's not cooperating. And sometimes my mind isn't cooperating. And the more pressure I put on myself and the more I make myself feel like I'm falling behind, then the more anxiety that gets created, So I want to ask you, like, how do you talk to yourself? Like, have you thought about that? Have you listened to the way that you talk to yourself? I think we have a lot of opportunity as women, but especially as women moving into middle age, to repeat some of the messages that we hear around us, to tell our bodies, why can't you work? Why are you sagging there? Why are you so foggy in your brain? Like, what's wrong with you? This isn't how you used to be. This isn't beautiful anymore. We start to adopt the things that we've heard and we start saying and repeating those things. And why is that important? Why am I talking about that today? I want us to evaluate how we're talking to ourselves for two reasons. One, because I think the messages that we give ourselves, especially in this critical time of midlife, helps define for us how our experience will be through these changes, through the pain maybe that we're going through physically, the discomfort we're going through physically. So the way that we're talking to ourselves helps pave the way for our experience. But the other thing is that I really think that the way we talk to ourselves affects our physical body. And that may sound a little woo, but I think that when we have hatred toward ourselves, when we speak unkindly and when we're telling ourselves in all the ways, verbal and nonverbal, that we're not good enough, that we don't measure up, I think that self-hatred can cause disease in our body. I don't know how else to say it. There was this study that they did where they used words and they spoke it over water. And they said some like mean words, like angry words. And then they said like loving words and like beautiful words and peaceful words. And then they looked at the water when it was frozen. They looked at the crystallization of the water. And when you look at the water crystals that were spoken over with angry words and like hateful words, it changed the shape of the crystallization of the water versus when you spoke like loving words and beautiful words over it, it was a more beautiful shape. I think that we are made of energy and we're made of water and that our words have power over our bodies. And so I want to talk about what do we do? Like, how do we speak over ourselves? I want us to just take a moment where we like evaluate and notice that. And then at the end of this video, I want to tell you something that I've done, kind of like started incorporating into my like morning kind of routine. But first I just want to ask you, like, do you ever stop and think, like, what am I saying to myself? How am I treating myself? There's this whole movement right now of influencers that are talking about like how we gentle parent ourselves and how we can like really kind of nurture ourselves by in the same way we would gentle parent our kid, we gentle parent ourselves, we speak words over ourselves, we console ourselves like verbally. And sometimes it can be funny if you like look at some of these influencer videos because they're talking to themselves, but they're like, oh honey, like, oh, you're really tired right now, aren't you? And they're like, it's so odd. One, it's odd to talk to yourself, but two, it feels funny to, and maybe foreign to some of us because that's not the kind of voice we use for ourselves. Like I said, my voice to myself is a drill sergeant. That has motivated me my whole life. That is how I have achieved what I have achieved. It's by someone coming into my mind space, kicking the door open at 6 a.m. and going, get out of bed, you worthless piece of shit. You got stuff to do. Let's go. Let's go. You think that was good? That was nothing. Let's go and let's keep going because you have some things to do. You know what I mean? Like that thing that you were proud of yesterday, that's nothing. Let's go. You can do better. That's my voice. And that voice has helped me. It served me. It's the reason why I was top of my class, summa cum laude. It's the reason why I was able to move up the ranks of my career. It was the reason why I was able to go to night school while I had a toddler and push through. You know, that's the voice. But now when I have frozen shoulder and I haven't slept much the night before because my hormones are everywhere and I don't know whether or not I want to build a business or break down in tears. At that moment, if a drill sergeant came knocking in the door, it would destroy me. I would literally dissolve into a panic attack. It would get me nowhere. It would get me nowhere except into my bed, where I would pull the covers over and not be able to move. And I'm frustrated by that because on one hand, I feel the opportunity for me is to tell myself that, like, what a worthless piece of crap you are. Like, you can't handle it. You feel a little weak to me. You know, that's the voice that I want to say. And at the same time, I have to tell myself, like, that's not true. It looks like you need a slow morning. It looks like it was a lot. It looks like you're dealing with a lot. It looks like the pain in your shoulder is really bothering you today. I can see that those hours of sleep that you missed, those really matter, and you didn't get that, and I think you might need a nap. You know, like the grace filled words. Can you do that? Are you good at that? Can you do that for yourself? Or does it make you feel weak? Let me tell you what I've started doing in the morning. As I'm finding ways to just kind of be slow in the morning and kind of nurture myself and kind of find my bearings and do what feels good for my body in terms of movement and that kind of thing. I've done some Qigong moves in the morning just to kind of help the energy flow, and I do like jumping and I do like arm swings and that kind of thing. It's kind of like it's Chinese medicine routine in the morning, and I really, really like it. But I've started to I have made this castor oil mixture with like aromatherapy oils, castor oil, and I've taken to after my shower, sitting on my bed and then kind of rubbing my feet with oil and looking at my feet. It's so funny. This is so embarrassing, but it's what I do, and I really like it. So I'm sharing it with you. Like, maybe it's something you can do too. Or maybe you're just going to be like, that's weird. Let's turn the channel. And that's fine too. But I've just started like massaging into my feet in the morning, this oil, and just like taking a moment. It's like taking 30 seconds with each foot and just looking at my feet and going, thank you. Thank you for being strong today, for taking me places where I'm going to go. Thank you for supporting this body and walking bravely, walking in strength. Thank you for, steadying us and being strong for this body and holding us up. And it's just a really sweet way to tell myself that I love myself, that I'm really proud of myself, that I'm grateful for this body, right? This body that so much in midlife I can look at and see it's failing me, to see, why is this sagging? Why is this bigger? What is this neck that suddenly attached to my body? Why is my skin itchy? Like, what, like, I just start by thanking my body. How we talk to ourselves is important. I think it sets the pace for our day. I think we can speak life and health over our body. We can also speak hatred to our body, which just creates another obstacle for our body and our mind to have to overcome. And there's enough of those already naturally. I don't want to be the cause of more of that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to ask you to like stop for a moment and think about it. notice it. Like, what's that voice? What's that tone that you're using with yourself? Is it nurturing? Is it grace-filled? Is it full of gratitude? Because if your body's anything like mine, it's out here fighting for its life in these streets. If it's in perimenopause or menopause, it is fighting the good fight of life. Let's just help it through.